goodness. Alright, now we're settled in. We've got both leads. We're cool. What's up? Sorry you had to see all that. So are we rolling? Cool. My name's Lyndon. I work part-time as a lawyer. This is my office. And I spend the rest of my time every week around Bryndwr. I work in a garden, hang out with young people, with families a bit. Yeah, it's really good.
Cool. Hi, my name is Cassie, and I'm a social worker, community worker, and also studying, so I do part-time.
What are you studying?
Social work.
When you can remember it. Awesome. So, probably back like 2009, 2010 was when my journey into like Bryndwr started. Cassie's got like a different sort of path in, so she can tell you about that in a second. I was praying a lot. I was getting like a bit frustrated with like my church's like kind of disconnect from its neighbourhood and its community. And I'm pretty sure that the neighbourhood also felt like the church was real disconnected from them as well, because like no one was coming along. And I was like, surely there's got to be a better way of like connecting with people that we want to help. Like it's not just about like paying money to charities to do this. There's got to be some like better way of living. And so I was cruising around and I found out about a bunch of people in Wellington called Urban Vision who like live their heart out in like quite poor neighbourhoods. And their approach to life is to just like be real good friends with people. So rather than being like, oh, I think you have these needs and I'll provide for them in these ways, because there's tons of groups to do that. They just have real good relationships with people who are like in quite hard situations. So I went and stayed with them for a couple of weeks in Cannons Creek, Porirua, which was like, whoa, that place is crazy. Flip, like my kids I got to meet on the streets there and like sort of talking about like the involvement with different gangs and like all sorts of stuff. So, oh yeah, cool. And I just loved that there were people deliberately living there in a neighbourhood that a lot of other people try to move out of. Yeah. I thought that was awesome. So sort of took those ideas and came back to Bryndwr, praying for somewhere to move into where I could like start to live that life, and we wound up on this little street called Hollyford Avenue. And yeah, sort of settled in there, got to know some neighbours, and like that's how we got underway.
Well, we were living around the corner from Lyndon's flat, and I guess our household had a real interest in environmentalism and sustainability. So we were actually involved in the Eco My Flat competition at the time. I think we won that year.
Yeah, you did.
We did.
And the year after.
And the year after.
Yeah.
We were awesome.
Just doing stuff like that. It's good.
And so I guess our sense of local community was a little motivated quite a lot by that idea that really, in terms of resources, we have to start thinking in a smaller scale, you know, traveling less and, you know, potentially working and living more in proximity rather than driving across town and that sort of thing. So when our worlds collided,
I think we had you guys over for dinner.
Yeah, it kind of was just immediate excitement.
Synergy.
Yeah, synergy.
Yeah. Vibe.
And lots of things happened real fast after that.
Yeah, so we invited a whole bunch of our mates around. We just kind of like put out a call, and we're like, if anyone's interested in like living in community in kind of like a local way, and like getting to know people, you're so welcome. It's community. Then like come around for dinner, and so a whole bunch of people came around for dinner. We had to like move it from our lounge into our garage because like the lounges were just like nowhere near big enough for that many people. So like 30 people who we hadn't like some who we'd met and were like good mates through church. Other we hadn't met, but like a bunch of part of a university enviro group called Kakariki. And we just had a yarn, and we like everyone brought some food. It's kind of funny like seeing people walking down the road with like casserole dishes from like other houses, and I'm sure the neighbours were like, what's going on? It's like a new commune in the neighbourhood.
Yeah.
And then like so we had a yarn about like we'd like to like create a new kind of thing, like a community that is like real deep, where people are really loved and really cared for, and we like anyone can be loved and cared for, not just people who are similar to each other. And we loved each other and loved people in our neighbourhood too, but also had real love and respect for our environment. It's like real important. Tips or advice? What do you reckon? I've got like a wee 4-point thing that I check off my weeks with. It's like a tool I use.
Do it.
I talk about it a bit. I'm like, do I know my neighbours who live like on either side of my house? Because like they're right next door, so when I have a party they know about it. It's good to know them well. Hopefully I can invite them to it. I was like, have I spent time out and about in the neighbourhood? So just like at the park, at the dairy, at the op shop, like wherever. Like have I spent time like sort of where people spend time? Have I like done a bit to create spaces around the neighbourhood where people can spend time? So have I been down at the community garden, like making that a good space for people? Have I been at the park with football to like play games with kids and get that to be a good space for people, or you know, stuff like that? Have I like invited neighbours around for tea and so created like a good community space in that kind of way? And the other thing is like, did I have loose time so that if something came up with somebody else, like a neighbour, then I could respond to it? So that's kind of my thing, is like, do I know my neighbours, do I spend time in the community space, do I create community space, and do I have time for surprises if bullying stuff comes up? So it's like I think it's quite I found it a real helpful way of like looking at my own life and just how I spend my time. So it could be quite helpful for people who want to be around the neighbourhood a bit.
I think if you moved into a new space, or say you're in a place and you've never really done or connected with anyone, yeah, definitely talk to the neighbours next door. I would just spend a lot of time walking. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Just don't get in a car for a while.
Or even bike.
Just walk and find like the random alleyways that you don't know where they go, or you know, just do the foot traffic and try and do it at particular times, so just before school, or you know, and see who is around on the streets and watch. Like, I think observation and just really observing, you know, where is the graffiti, where is the garbage, where are the trees, where is the grass, where is the everything, and then notice where do people go. And once you start seeing some of the patterns there, then you can invite yourself along to those spaces too, or ask, you know, to be involved. Or,
yeah, that's cool. Get in with what other people are doing, eh?
Yeah. If you see kids playing basketball, see if you can join in. I think for me that's less intimidating than, I think starting off with observation, so you feel like you know a little, you know, so you can store some of that information, and then you can begin to think about, okay, how do I feel called to act here, and what might be helpful. You know, if there's loads of glass around and rubbish, maybe do some street cleanup.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, you know.
If it's real frequent, how much people in the neighbourhood do street cleanup.
Yeah.
Create a bit of pride in the place, eh?
If you notice the dairy gets tagged every weekend, maybe thinking about, okay, so maybe we could do some community art on the dairy, and then maybe the kids would be less likely to want to tag it.
Or just go and ask whose tag it is and go around to their house. So I'm doing with the community garden tag we've got at the moment.
Which is the wasted one?
The wasted one, yeah, I know whose that is, and we go there and say hi. Be yourself with people. Yeah, it's real big, eh? Also, like...
People have really good bullshit raters most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, shit.
Useless.
The kind of beauty of community is that you go into a space and you think, you know, we can do something good here, and you yourself are also transformed by it, because, you know, obviously we're just naturally impacted by relationships around us. And
yeah.
There's something really special about that.
I feel like, and I've probably said this a few times, is like we've taken way more from being in the neighbourhood than we've been able to give. Like our neighbours have just given so much more to us in terms of like learning and like sharing their stories, helping us out, hooking us up with eggs.
Yeah.
Our neighbours used to have shops, that was awesome.
And it's also, like, there's not many spaces in my life previously where you connect with so many different age groups. You know, we're kind of student age group, we connect with students, and you get married and all your friends are married, and this kind of this thing. But in community, suddenly I have access to someone who could be my grandfather or someone who could equally, and it's nice. You feel like you do have an extended family that you can use. But they're there for you,
What Kitty means is she gets to hang out with other people's kids, and she's way into that.
I get to hold babies.
That's good.
My flatmate used to bring home extra fruit and veg from her work, and we'd take it round to Mary next door, who was an elderly lady. It was a really good time to get to know her and be in her home.
Yeah, we went to a street barbecue across the road, one of our neighbours.
Yeah, we got to meet some really interesting people, actually.
Yeah, Greg, he came to stay with us. He was a chef and stayed for a few weeks, actually.
Yeah, I taught Luke some much needed skills.
Oh, I'm still no good though, am I?
They went from being the neighbours who complained about the noise level all the time to good old Rob and Stacey, who were keen to help out with the trailer.
Yeah, one of the guys used to work for the CIA, we found out. He's a very interesting character, but nice guy, eh? Really nice.
Really nice.
Good.
There was a time when we all knew our neighbours. When we needed support, we were always there for each other.
A time when it was normal just to pop next door and say g'day, kia ora, talofa lava, or even konnichiwa. Saying hi to your neighbour isn't that hard. In fact, it's a piece of cake.
Sharing food with someone is a great way to connect. That's why we're inviting you to be part of our neighbourhood project. Getting to know our neighbours and looking out for one another, it's easy. In fact, it's a piece of cake.
On the weekend of the 29th of March, join with us and bake a cake. Or if you're like me, buy a cake or some muffins or something sweet and share it with your neighbour. It's that easy.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
Knowing your neighbour is a piece of cake.
29th and 30th of March.
Get involved because everybody needs good neighbours.